Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about The Haunting Hour Fear Never Knocks. This is a very spine-chilling, tingling episode. And it's pretty scary, if I have to say. Like, it's just freaky. It's one of my favorites. I do like how it goes from A, B to C. Sometimes I kind of wish the B part was kind of like a little different kind of. Or is it C part? Anyway, but yeah, I do like it. This is actually the first time I ever saw Ariel Winters in like anything. This is when she was like really young. She was probably like no more than like 10, 11, 12, 13, something like that. And she's really short in this. But then again, she's short no matter what. So, yeah. So, like, this starts off, and there's a man. He's a psychiatrist, and he's talking to a woman. And she's talking about how she has, like, a fear of, like, spiders. And as she's talking to him... Oh, by the way, this episode is directed by the dad of Wizards of Waverly Place. This man directs some really good stuff. It's just too bad that, like, he gets, like, cast in, like, a lot of crappy stuff. Like the movie Bone Alone, which is a Home Alone spinoff with dogs that talk and people trying to break into the house. It's like, seriously, dude. Anyways, so she's talking to the psychiatrist and he has this strange box device that is recording. And as she's telling like him her fears and everything, his granddaughter, played by Ariel Winters, named Jenny, she is listening with like a glass on the door. And I think her brother, her brother Jack, he comes in and they make some noise. So Grandpa hears and he stops the recording for a while. And then he goes to check and see what it is, but they scatter. So the woman is just telling him all about like her fears of spiders. And he's all like, once you leave this room, your fears will be gone. So then it goes to like dinner time. And so he's fixing them some food because he has like a banquet thing he has to go to. And he leaves the kids in the house by themselves. Which, back in them days, people used to do. Nowadays, you just can't do. Also, the house that man lives in is nice. It's like a mansion almost. And it's still in that same neighborhood that The Haunting Hour still films in, but it's like a completely different house and a completely different color. And yeah, it's a nice house, I have to say. Also, it's nice to see the brother-sister dynamic in the R.L. Stine episode. Because in The Haunting Hour, they steered away from the Goosebump formula of the brother sister dynamic or the best friend a guy and a girl dynamic. And so it's very rare to see the brother sister thing in The Haunting Hour. And so they're he's talking to them and she's just grilling him, asking him, because she wants to be a psychiatrist herself, and she's just asking him straight up, how do you make these people fear go away? You don't do nothing, you just have them record what they say in a box. He gets a little angry talking about you've been spying on me, and she tells him straight up, she just wants to be a psychiatrist and stuff. And so she doesn't understand, nobody understands how this man does what he does, but he's about to be awarded at this banquet for having this award of being one of the best psychiatrists there is, because he literally makes everybody's fear go away when they're no longer afraid of whatever it is they're afraid of. So when he leaves, there's a strange man wearing a trench coat and a fedora staring down the house. And this man has a creepy look on his face. And so one thing that the father from Wizard of Waverly Place, Peter DeLise is his name or something like that, he's really good at directing. He has this guy's face and it's kind of grayish white and it's in the shadows, but all you see is his eyes lit up like a bar around his eyes. I love that effect. So anyway, the brother and sister are talking about things like fear and everything, and the boys all how, and they talking about what their fears are about, but they want to play with their grandpa's machine, so they go into the room. The boy doesn't want to do it, but the girl wants to, and she's very adamant. So Jenny's you're doing this no matter what. because she wants to see how this thing works, and and everything else. And it's a strange box. They've never seen anything like this. And I'm not even sure this is a even recording box, but it's a neat looking box and everything. And so like she tells like her brother Jack that she'll be grandpa and he'll be like the lady talking about like the spiders or whatever. So she starts hitting some buttons, but she don't know what she's doing. And she starts to replay back what the lady's talking about the spiders. This automatically scares Jack. He's like just the scaredy cat of the show, right? And so she finally figures out which button to record, so she hits it. And so Jack tells her straight up, he's scared of a killer dog. And she's all like, when have you ever seen a killer dog? He's all like, when I was little and everything. So it's kind of like, I don't know what kind of dog this is. Maybe a rock brawler or something like that. And it's just like a black dog, and it's like really mean with these sharp razor teeth, and it's constantly growling and snarling at him and stuff. And he said that he's afraid that this dog, like, it chases him all the time and he can't run away from it. And he's afraid it's going to eat him or something like that. And so, like, then she's all like, but he gets scared and he doesn't want to, like, talk about it anymore. So she said, no, it's her turn. So, but then she starts hitting the wrong buttons again. And it replays back what he's like, no, wait. Skip that. So anyway, it's her turn. So, yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. And so, like, I do love it when they talk about their fear, because one thing the director does is that he focuses slowly on their faces, and then sometimes he goes straight to just their lips. And it's more spine chilling when you hear them talk and see their lips move than you see the fear, like, on their face. But then he goes up and he shows, like, their eyes, and then he shows, like, the actual fear as they're talking about it. Her fear is that there's a woman living in her closet. And this woman has like tons of makeup on her face, and she has like a stocking like wrapped around her head, and she's kind of like hinged looking and stuff and contorted, and she's just cackling and trying to grab her all the time. And that's like her greatest fear. What's interesting is that it's kind of hard to see the woman's face because she has that scarf around it. But when you do look at it, the makeup that's applied on her face looks very similar to the very first Evil Dead movie. It's either Linda or Cheryl's face. You remember like in the first movie, there's somebody sitting on the floor and their face has like tons of makeup on it, and they have like a dress, and they're kind of like singing and acting stupid and creepy and scary. And then it's like this bright like makeup, like white and pink and blues. Her face looks just like that. And so then after telling the fear, it kind of scares Jack. So she's all like, I want to hear our voices on the thing. He's like, I don't want to hear it. So she starts like playing them, and she starts playing Jack's. And then so like, he's all like, I'm not listening. He puts his hands in his ears like, la, 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 and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden they leave like the room, and he starts talking about how like he hates being scared and he wishes there was no fear. And she's all like, well, fear is like a good thing, because if you wasn't afraid of nothing, you would like jump in front of a car and everything. Then all of a sudden they start to see like a giant spider, not too big, but it's like a regular tarantula thing crawling around on the floor. And then all of a sudden there's a dog in the house, and it's the same kind of dog that like Jack is afraid of. And it's just growling at them and staring them down, and it chases them like around the house and everything, and they are scared. And I think they run like upstairs or something like that. And when they run upstairs, they close the door. The dog's like still barking at them. And they don't understand how this dog got in the house. But then they're all like, wait, Jack, isn't this the dog from like your nightmare type thing, what you're afraid of? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, well, how did this happen? He's all like, the box. Somehow the box made your fear come to life. And then he looks at his sister. He's all like, you don't think. And then his sister like turns around slowly because they're in her room. And she looks at her closet. And and then she starts walking towards her closet because she thinks now that woman might be in there. And Jack's like, no, don't do it. She's like, I have to. I always have to. Because that's a part of her nightmare. not only is the woman in the closet, but she always has to like walk towards that lady and look and find that lady and stuff. And so she starts walking slowly with like a creepy look on her face, a disturbed look on her face. And as soon as she opens the door, there's like the woman, and the woman's like, with her hands like all bony and like and like creepy looking, and she has that scarf around her face looking like the Evil Dead lady, and she's like, and then she starts like trying to run after the kid, and they run out, and then soon the dog comes back, and they like chasing it and they're running. I love this episode. Then somehow they make it to like the front door, and Jack, he's trying his best to open the front door, but he can't. The door is locked for some reason. So then he runs and he tries to get to the phone. The phone melts in his hand and turns to goop on the floor. And then all of a sudden, a man appears in his grandfather's lounge. It's the same man who was staring down the house with the trench coat and the fedora. He's known as, well, it's weird. He said he is fear itself, but on IMDb, he's known as the Collector. So I don't know. But he's played by a very good actor. He's played by Christopher Heidendahl, I think you say his last name. He's really good. I saw him on Smallville. He was Zor-El, Kara's dad. He's done a lot of DC properties. He's in the new Peacemaker show. Let's see what else he was in. He was in Arrow, and he was in Van Helsing, which was on Sci-Fi. He was the best part of that entire show. He played like a disturbed man who turned out to be a deranged killer, who later turned into like a vampire, and then he was some type of like demonic devil vampire dude. He was the main villain for like season 3 or something like that. But then they killed him off and they brought in Dracula, and she wasn't all that cool and everything. She wasn't as cool as him, so it would really suck. And that's when the show started going downhill because the main actress got pregnant and stuff. And so she had to leave the show and then come back to like towards the end of the 5th season, the final season. So that kind of sucked. But anyway, he does an amazing job when he acts. In this episode, he's very calculated when he talks. He's very calculated when he moves. He's very creepy. He's very eerie. His face is like pale grayish white. He has these slight veins on his face. He's decked out in black. He's bald. His eyes are like creepy with like reddish stuff around them. Like the man is just like frightening looking all on his own when he doesn't even have to talk. I really wish this actor would play the Joker. He looks like the Joker. He acts like the Joker. He should play the Joker one day. And so like, he's telling them like, where's your grandfather at? And like, me and him, like, he has something of mine. And the girl's all like, oh, he's downstairs with a shotgun. And he's like, ooh, you are a peach and everything. And he's all like, I can just smell the fear in you and everything. And so, like, he's telling them that, like, your grandfather, he's a fraud, a fake, and everything. How he makes people fears, like, disappear and everything. And it's, like, all because of him. And then, though, Jack gets pissy. He's all like, Grandpa's not a fake. Grandpa's a good man, and blah, 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 blah. And then his grandfather comes in. And he's all like, it's true, Jack, I am a fake and everything. He's all like, I'm a fraud. And he reveals the truth. 36 years ago, those two met. And the Collector, who is Fear himself, gave Grandpa the box. And the box does literally what it's supposed to do. It makes people's fear go away, and it's trapped in the box. And that's how the grandfather became like the world's greatest psychiatrist and stuff. And so the Fear man, he's all like, I want my box and everything. And so he's just scaring the piss out of Jack. And I think something happens where Jack tries to stand up to him, and he flings Jack halfway across the room and hits the back of the door. With just like telepathy and everything. And he's all like, he will rain down fear for like 100 years if you don't give him his box and all this other stuff. So Grandpa's like, fine, whatever, I'll do it. But Jenny, she's all like, I know where it's at because I hit it and everything. So Jenny has a plan. Jenny walks up with him with the box, and she starts kind of like standing up to him and everything. She's all like, you know what I'm really afraid of? He's like, ooh, do tell and everything. And she's all like, I'm afraid of fear. I'm afraid of fear itself. I'm afraid of you. And since he is the embodiment of fear, because she touched like the recording button. So since she's afraid of fear and he is fear, he gets sucked into the box, just like everybody else is fear. And she closes it. And so it's like they're relieved now because, they've now conquered the ultimate thing of fear. And so like, um, they're all, and she asked like, well, I think her brother Jack's all like, is it over? Is fear like no longer in the world? She's like, yes, it's no longer in the world. When they're like laying down, so he tells her good night and she's laying in her bed, but then something strange happens. If fear is now gone, why is she still scared and looking at her closet? And the camera just pans into her closet and you see the fear on her face. She still thinks the woman is inside and everything. I guess it's because like she's afraid maybe she hit the wrong button and probably released some of the fear, or maybe she released it and nobody knows. See, nobody knows because it ends just like that. And so it's really creepy and stuff, because it's kind of like, because she even told her brother there has to be fear in the world because you'll jump right in front of like a car and everything. So maybe off screen she released fear and everything. Who knows? But all I know is that if fear was truly gone, she wouldn't still be scared right now when she goes to bed. Like I said before, this is a great episode. It's creepy, it's scary. My only problem is sometimes, even though I do like it when the fear dude shows up, I kind of wish that the kids would still be running from what they're afraid of and then find a way to overconquer it themselves and make it disappear. That would have been even more interesting, but both ways are fine. Now, wasn't that spooky? Alright, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.